we are underway, so the race should begin shortly on the stream.
Uh, there we go.
And of course, both players opting for different starting locations.
Nice. Sank having a key, which
And
is
Tojso finding 300 rupees, which is always welcome.
it looks like the Sank is by the river today.
Yep. Kinda off in its own little area. But it's not the worst place. Or is it the worst place for it? It's pretty close.
No, the worst place for it is probably
like Lumberjack Cave?
Actually, I don't think it can be on the pyramid. But
right.
Lumberjack Cave is pretty bad.
So Vascos has found in the Vanilla Sanctuary location the escape area with the uncle, and we found both the boots and the mitts there. This is a huge location.
Oh yeah, gloves are a big deal early on, especially in entrance.
Right, mitts was the wrong word. Mitts is the second one. Sorry about that. It is the power glove, which is so bad.
And we see our first fortune teller. Tojso, meanwhile, finding the bunny cave.
Yeah, super bunny cave.
Personally, my favorite cave.
Well, of course.
It's also one of the few kind of glitches that I discovered on my own.
Yeah. The great thing about Super Bunny in this cave is it requires 0 effort to activate. There are other places
all you have to do is drop down.
There are other places you can activate it with the mirror on the correct frame or something like that, but it's
yeah, frame perfect tricks.
So Bugs dropping bombs today.
Ooh, that's nice.
That's very nice, especially for entrance randomizer, where you're going to be using many more bombs than you normally would.
Oh, absolutely. There are quite a lot of bombable walls in this game that are pretty much useless, in non-entrance rando, but in this case you need to check every entrance. And we see the arrow shop on Tojso's screen.
It's the mythical shop. I've had some people tell me there's no place to buy arrows in this game, and that is not true. It's just hard to get to.
Yeah, and it's so far out of the way that you would never walk past it just looking for stuff. Tojso finding Agnes Cave here. We'll see if there's anything in it. Vascos opting to pick up a red rupee because at this point, when you have 3 rupees, anything is worth it. Oh, Tojso finding the other gloves.
So Titan's mitts very early on in this.
Yeah. Oh, and the well is in the forest hole, which is a nice place for it, easy to access.
Yeah. Having the well in the pyramid is always not fun.
Yeah.
So we have Ganon at the Magic Bat Cave.
Vasco's picking up ether.
Tojso remembering to go in the front of the tavern.
Which an easy place to forget about.
Yeah. The back of the tavern is always guaranteed to be vanilla because the backward entrance does weird things.
Yeah. It ended up soft locking a bunch of stuff, so they decided it was easier to just leave it alone.
It is theoretically possible. It's theoretically possible to make it work. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Vasco's finding a dark room that may or may not contain an old man. And there's the bomb shop.
And
in a nice location.
Meanwhile, Tojso finding the King's Tomb, which is not worth much today, sadly.
His entire treasure was just a little love.
Lumberjack Cave is in Kakariko well, and Vascos is going to take the time to jump in. It's a full heart, but hey, why not?
Okay, considering they're both still at 3 hearts, I do not blame him.
Yeah. I generally grab full hearts early on if they're easily accessible.
Yeah, and I would definitely consider that one easily accessible.
So
So finding the blue cane.
in the Sea House, in what I believe is its Light World counterpart. No, it's
Yes.
one south.
Oh,
It's
big find for Vascos there. That was the moon pearl.
Moon Pearl found in the Waterfall Cave, which is in the Northwest House in Kakariko Village, which Tojso will find almost immediately.
Pretty much. The bottle vendor offering only a ripoff.
So if Tojso goes up to Sanctuary, he will be able to find the second glove and start making his way into the Dark World if he wants.
And those boots.
Yep. Meanwhile, Vascos, if he can find Agina's cave.
Unfortunately, Vascos didn't find that 300 rupees, so he's just picking up all the little ones.
I imagine at some point he will quit to Link's house, though, so that's probably gonna happen at some point.
Oh yeah, but definitely after Kakariko. Vasco's making up a bit of time by having the boots for Kakariko, which is a nice little bonus there.
Right. Now, here in the simple entrance shuffler, all of the areas with 2 exits, so like the two-door house in Kakariko Village, the race game, things like that, when you go in one, you will come out the other. It's still pretty simple like that, with the exception of Death Mountain, which is all weird. The full mode that's coming up later, and we've already had one match in full mode, that is not the case.
No, full entrance shuffle gets a little crazier. Caves can basically warp you across the world. You can find dungeons pretty much anywhere. The only safety is that you won't get fake light or dark world.
Right. I actually ran into a thing the other day where I got into Hyrule Castle in the Dark World in full entrance mode, and then because the sewer is open, I could actually go out the sewer and into the light world, which would have caused a fake light world situation. So I don't know if that's something people know about.
Okay. So, unless I'm forgetting something, Vasco's about to pick up his Titan's mitts. Yep.
Alright, so the Titan's mitts have been acquired by one of our players. And Tojso's
and I'm
heading
sure
up
the other one isn't too far behind.
Yeah, Tojso's heading up the north, and I imagine we'll be heading to Sanctuary shortly. Almost not checking the Lumberjack hut.
That's an easy one to forget. Though even easier to forget is that spot in the Dark World.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So there's that was the Wishing Fairy, the Queen of the Fairies cave.
Tojso going up Death Mountain, or not, finding Bumper Cave. So getting up Death Mountain is going to require the cape, the hook shot, or actually,
Flute?
Yeah, flute or cape. You can only get through the reverse one with the hook shot.
Right. If it was backward, you could get there with the hook shot.
Yeah.
All right, so now both players have acquired Titan's mitts and are on their way.
Well, yeah, between the Titan's mitts and the and the boots, you've got a lot of access.
Tojso with the very rare 10 rupee heart purchase.
Well, you know, if you run into it, you might as well.
Tojso now coming in to get the 3 chests at the back of Sanctuary.
Okay, well, we've seen both the key and the map now, which means that the castle chest and the sewer chest all have items in them.
This is true. It's always easy to forget the sewer chest.
Oh, yeah. Especially since you're supposed to have the lamp for it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I have been able to get it without. It's a little tricky.
You might want a few hearts before you do that, just in case.
Or
And
some kind
something
of medallion that can just murder everything on screen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not like they've found the ether medallion. Oh, wait, yes, they have.
Well, Vascos has.
Right. I mean, it was in the well, right?
Yeah.
I thought I saw Tojso go into the well, but maybe he didn't have bombs at the time because it was behind the blow-up wall.
No, he might have, but we'll just have to take a look at his. Oh, and we have a map check.
Yep. Looks like the Palace of Darkness was the green pendant, and Skull Woods was the blue pendant.
Okay.
So Vascos should know that this is not a crystal dungeon that he is in right now, based on the music.
Yeah.
Though sometimes people get confused on those songs.
Yeah. You do have to memorize what they sound like. I just remember the one kind of sounds like an organ and the other one like violins.
Yeah, one of them has the pizzicato strings going like, and that's the Dark World one. That's the one you're looking for. That's right. Pizzicato is a word that you never expected to hear. Tojso finding the bed and breakfast in the bombable hut in Dark World, as well as Vascos. Blah.
Yet another shop for Tojso. Vasco's taking a death there, but I don't think it'll cause any problems.
Vasco's gonna pick up his 300 rupees.
Yep.
Meanwhile,
And
Tojso gonna spend 80
enough
of
for
his.
him to go. Oh, not quite.
Nah, he's got about 100 more before he can check Zora.
Plus, we haven't seen any clippers yet. Oh, there's the Spike Cave. That's going to require the hammer, plus, in this logic, an invincibility item.
Right. Now, they do have the Cane of Burna, so that is available. However, there is one additional requirement in the logic, and that is you either have to have half magic or a bottle. Because getting there with the Cane of Burna with normal magic is not necessarily possible.
Yeah. Especially with such low heart. And unlike before, they've tried to make it so that you absolutely can be sure to get it. It used to be so that all that was required was hammer, and it just assumed you could find some combination of hearts, bottles, and invincibility items to make it.
Tojso finding a very important cave. It's the dam, which will open Swamp Palace, which, if I recall correctly, was a crystal.
I believe so. And a nice addition to Entrance Shuffle is that the dam will stay permanently open, as opposed to regular, where it will close if you leave. Which means that Swamp Palace does not require the mirror, or at least not necessarily.
Yes, the best. It was a good compromise. The original design just left Swamp Vanilla every time, which is, less fun, in my opinion.
I think so too. Vascos stealing the chicken lady's life savings. Only 20 rupees.
Yep.
She's a
But
humble
the chicken
woman.
lady, for some reason, is just hanging out so far from her house. I don't understand.
Tojso finding Karkat's room and actually finding some use for it. That was a room I didn't even know existed until Entrance Shuffle. Actually, there's quite a few of those.
Sorry about that. Accidentally disconnected my microphone.
Whoop.
Yes, that is the reason that you have such stringent requirements for the Spike Cave, in that they made it such that you will never be required to take damage to do anything. Because there are modes where you die if you take damage, and so that would be a problem.
Yeah, one hit KO would be difficult. I suppose that also applies to the U room in Ice Palace.
Yes, the Ice Palace Spike Cave room, also the Spike chest in Misery Mire.
Mm-hmm.
Those also have an invincibility item requirement. But the only one that requires the bottle and half magic is the Spike Cave.
Because it's just so much longer.
So many spikes.
Not quite 1,000 spikes, but...
I mean, I think it's probably more than 1,000 spikes. I mean, there's a bunch of tiles there.
True, I guess if you counted the number of spike tiles and how many spikes were on a tile.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Vascos finding the first item of desert, and it's just some rupees. Tojso, meanwhile, heading through Eastern. Unfortunately, won't be able to finish it.
Right.
That being said, Vascos can't finish desert either. Though
Tojso finding a bottle. I
nice.
find a lot of things in Eastern to be pretty. I find Eastern to have a lot of things in Entrance Shuffle because
oh yeah,
it's usually more accessible.
Even in regular. Okay.
Vascos has found the hookshot in Desert Palace, and we are in business.
Did you see where Desert Palace was? I'm assuming castle. Just based on what items he has?
Seems reasonable. He couldn't have gotten into Desert Palace and Turtle Rock lols.
Yeah.
So it had to have been castle.
So doing the easiest dark room in the game?
Yep. So easy even I can do it.
Yeah, that's the only one where I didn't have to look up a map to do it. I just kind of, I'm sure I can figure this one out.
So Tojso taking the Death Warp, which is... Oh! And he didn't realize he had the fairy.
Oops.
So now he's taking the extra long Death Warp.
Finding the fairy in a bottle can be nice, but especially in entrance rando, that can happen.
All right, so Tojso now heading up toward the traditional Hype Cave location.
Yeah.
Or has he already checked that? heading into the traditional bomb shop, which is the sick kid.
Yep, we saw the sick kid before, so he probably went straight there upon finding a bottle, and unfortunately, sick kid just gives him his lunch money. Vasco's deciding to take a cup of tea.
Yep.
Considering he was about half health.
Nothing wrong with that. So, these bonk rocks to the west of Link's house and the
bomb shop
in the Dark World, those are a place that very few people remember to get. It's also interesting because they are the exact same thing in both worlds. In the vanilla game, they are a fountain with 4 fairies in it.
So Tojso is probably going to be finding desert very soon, and I'd expect him to also go through it. Vasco's finding Hera, and it looks like he's going to be climbing up. Unfortunately, he has no means to defeat Moldorm, but he can at least get one of the items. Unless... Or, no.
I believe that
one
will also be always be possible, unless you have the situation like you just had, where you have a small key and a map item, in which case you need the fire source to do anything.
So Vascos is going to be leaving. Looks like he's going down to cave number 5.
The only things that can harm Moldorm are the hammer and the sword. That's it.
And it looks like cave number 5 is vanilla.
Oh, by the way, this is the loser's bracket, for people who asked. Round 2. Winner of this match faces Orphus in loser's bracket round 3. The loser of this match is sadly eliminated from the tournament. Tojso getting ever so close to that hook shot.
Vascos appears to have a mission here, but not entirely sure what it is.
Probably just heading back to the Dark World through the only place you can get there.
Yep. Without the hammer, at least.
Yep. Of course, you could also get there on Death Mountain with just the mitts, but you'd have to actually be able to get into Death Mountain.
Which they currently cannot do. Vasco's going to be checking the first half of Skull, which is a good idea. It can have up to 2 items.
And getting trolled by the holes, because they're, of course, randomized among themselves. Ending up in the room that's guaranteed to be a key.
Still, I think the worst hole to fall in is probably the one for the other section.
The one at the top?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I suppose there is still one chest in that section, but it's pain to get to it from there.
That is true.
Vasco's finding the big key, so I'm assuming some bomb jumping is going to happen.
Looks like it's bomb jump time.
Oh yeah.
Not even bothering with the bonk. Just doing it.
I actually haven't learned it with the bonk. I just do it without.
Yeah. I'm told that doing the bonk gives you a couple extra pixels of leeway in the vertical direction.
True, but it's not that hard to line it up. It's no more difficult than the fake flippers, which I assume Tojso might be doing shortly, or at least after visiting the shopping mall, at least.
Yep. Well, it may be a little while before he visits the shopping mall.
That appears to be the case.
Because the
Vascos
crabs are
gingerly
brutal.
making his way around and failing.
Crabs
The
are brutal,
noise.
and Gibdos are brutal. Everybody's brutal.
Yep.
Somebody
And it
should give
appears
those
he's
Gibdos a
going
beating.
to ask Brian for some help here, which is completely understandable.
What's my little brother got to do with this? Now, my little brother's name is Brian, and I like to tell him that we pick up his cane in this game. Even spelled that way. B-R-Y-N-A. That's how you spell Brian, right? Or B-Y-R-N-A. I can't even spell it wrong correctly.
Meanwhile, Tojso finding the potion shop.
Yep.
And getting himself a nice little cuckoo clip there.
I have been burned by the cuckoo clip before.
I've never even bothered trying it. It just seems so pointless.
It's very silly. And basically, the only thing it's worth is the chat goes, oh.
Well, yeah, it's a
That is the
swag
PogChamp
strat.
sound.
That is the definition of a swag strat.
And there's the fake flipper. Now, for those of us who don't know, the fake flipper glitch is a glitch that is performed when you jump into the water exactly 1 pixel from the end and immediately move into the next screen. That gives you the ability to swim without the flippers. The problem is if you take any damage, it's going to cause problems. In this game, it just goes ahead and kills you.
Kills you, no fair revives. Just dead. Unfortunately, in the vanilla game, it causes a soft luck if you don't save and quit immediately.
Right,
So doing all that work for the red meringue, and then pulling off a beautiful reverse fake flippers.
Meanwhile, Vasco's checking the location of the mythical shop that no one knows about. Because, once again, it can be hard to remember that place because, again, it's so far out of the way.
Yep.
I think I said Tojso when I meant Vascos.
Now let's see if he remembers to actually go check that cave where the bumper cave is, because there can be items in there, and if there are, and you're like, oh, I see the item on the bumper ledge, I don't need to go in there, and you're like, oops.
Yeah, it looks like he's going for it. He's got to take care of this murder-dactyl first.
Those are the worst.
I think at this point it could be this. Oh, it's the hookshot cave.
And that was worth checking.
Good call. And the hammer!
Ooh. Oh,
wow.
yeah.
And a sword.
And
this
sword.
Is basically the best cave ever.
Yeah.
And we haven't even seen all of it. Calling Kane of Samaria. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Just the bombs. But a sword, a hammer.
Absolutely worth it. Beautiful.
It's basically the how do I kill Moldorm cave. Here you go. All of the ways to do so.
Vasco's going for a third cup of tea. He seems to be very thirsty this run.
Yep. Taking the cup of tea and then the save and quit, which is kind of a bit of a waste.
Oh, I've done that before.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's common because you're sitting there thinking, okay, what am I gonna do next? And you're like, okay, I'll just pick up some hearts while I'm thinking about what I'm doing. And you're like, yeah, I gotta save and quit, don't I? All right.
Oh well.
Hype shut cave indeed. Yes, I believe that is Christos's baby.
Yeah.
With the cup of tea.
I think I saw Tojso finding the blacksmith's house.
Ah.
Another
so
good place to remember for later. Meanwhile, Vascos is able to do quite a bit more exploration now, or at least more exploration that doesn't involve trekking all the way around the world first.
Yep. Having the hammer gives you many more opportunities to enter the dark world in different locations. Vascos is going to get some things out of Eastern Palace.
Yep.
And then leave shortly. Tojso going to do the same with Hera.
Well, going to try and then immediately leave. Whereas Vascos is now able... Oh, nope, not yet. You still have no fire source.
Yeah, I mean, you don't actually need the fire source, you just would prefer it.
No, you need a fire source for Hera if it's in that configuration.
Yeah, for Hera, yes. I thought you were talking about Vascos, sorry. So looks like he was trying to set up Houlihan room. And didn't.
Maybe he had a better idea. Or he noticed that he has 504 rupees and... Nope, not going to Zora.
He might be going to Zora.
Oh!
Placed a fake flipper there.
Have we seen what's in the pond yet?
On the... You mean on the island?
No, the item you get for draining the dam.
Oh. You know, I'm not sure. I imagine they would have seen that. Yeah, you can do the fake flipper so that you can actually get into the waterfall cave. Let's see what's in there.
Unfortunately, if there is an item in there, you cannot get it. And
Well,
it's the library.
He can walk out and he'll be doing the Jesus walk because he has the moon pearl and they can just walk right back in and get it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What just happened?
Oh, that doesn't work, does it? The bonk cancels it.
Okay, but apparently he can just go back in a third time and it worked? But...
Okay.
Oh, but he lost fake flippers, which means... Right. Okay. That's interesting.
So there we go. Now...
Like he's gonna go around again to, visit Zora.
So he's doing another fake flipper.
Okay.
Glitch.
I didn't even know that one was allowed.
Way of setting it up.
But okay.
Oh yeah, it's plenty allowed. It's an interesting way of setting it up. You bonk off of that tower there, and it knocks you back as far as you can.
Yeah. And by allowed, I mean I didn't know that one existed. But this is Tojso, and Tojso does glitch, so he knows all this stuff.
Oh yeah. And it's very that warp is more useful in entrance randomizer than any other thing. And the warp just south of the shopping mall also is very useful in entrance randomizer. Especially in the dark world.
Oh, I have had that one be quite useful in regular as well. Especially if you don't have the hammer.
Right.
you can need that for access. I saw full heart on Zora's Ledge, so I don't think either of anyone's going back for that one.
Right. It's nice to have, but it's not required, and it won't change your life. Well, it'll change your life total.
If he had the flippers, maybe he'd pick it up.
Massive life lesson from Zora. That is minus 495.
That's another map check, and I saw that ice was a 5, and 6 is going to be one of the light world dungeons.
Looks like it. Minus 99% return on investment, yes.
Yep.
So finding the front half of the tavern in what I call the 50 rupee farming cave.
Yeah, I just call it the rupee farm. Oh, and there's a third bottle for Tojso.
Yep.
And this
Not all
one's
the bottles you can
blue goo.
The Dark World chest game, and he does not have enough rupees to do the Dark World chest game.
Ooh.
Because Zora is a cruel, cruel king.
And he appears to be attempting to find some rupees so that he doesn't have to go too far.
Yeah.
Also, apparently picking up bombs despite having full bombs.
Yep. The best spot I can think of for guaranteed rupees from here would be a tree pull.
I think we've seen at least one of the farm caves. Maybe not the good one.
It's possible. Meanwhile, Vasco's doing his digging.
I'm a little surprised Tojso didn't check the desert ledge.
Vasco's bailing out with 2 seconds left to avoid that text box.
The text box of shame. Oh, that's what he was doing. Hoping for a good B. Unfortunately, it was not. Vascos taking his frog for a walk.
Yep, it's going to be a bit of a trek.
Yep, I believe it was on that cave on the way to Eastern or Pod.
Yeah, one of those two.
I don't remember if it was the Light World or Dark World version.
I think it needs to be the Light World, otherwise you have a frog.
Oh yeah, good point.
You're making that up.
In which case, he's probably going to be saving and quitting after.
There.
Hello!
Maria, found in the mini Moldorm cave. It's
Surprisingly enough, he's not saving and quitting yet.
You have quite a treasure there. Anyway.
Oh, there we go.
So the mini Moldorm cave was in the Peg cave. So in order for Tojso to find that, he's going to need to find that hookshot cave and the hammer.
And the hookshot cave was in Bumper Cave, which is a very common place to not check because you're like, I saw the item on Bumper Cave, it's not necessary, so I'll just forget about it.
Ripperoni.
Oh yeah. Oh, and there's Quake.
So, Vasco's finding the quack.
Okay, I believe Desert with 6 there.
Looks like
I
it.
didn't get a very good look. Still no crystals on the board. So they've been into at least 3-4 dungeons by now.
Yeah, you find that that's the case a lot of times in Entrance Randomizer. And a lot of times you're glad to go into dungeons, even if you can't complete them, because you know there are chests in there that you can check. Whereas you're not guaranteed that there will be chests anywhere else you check.
Yep. And every dungeon contains at least 2 items. But I believe we've seen all 3 Light World dungeons as well as the Skullwoods.
Yep, all 3 Light World dungeons, Skullwoods, back entrance, all of them have been found. Still haven't found Ganon's Tower, which is everybody's favorite.
Yeah, that 27 chests, is it?
Yep. Now, I don't know if I'm pretty sure we're playing with the logic that was originally started, or that we started with on this randomizer. So I don't think they have the let's fill Ganon's Tower with a bunch of junk first from the current randomizer.
Mm. Well, I know that this version of randomizer is a combination of 25 and 26. So It's got the waterfall fairy chest. And a few other things, but
we had that update as part of it.
Yeah, as well as the invincibility item requirements.
If Tojso wanted a good bee, he could have gotten it in that place, except he doesn't have the net. Oh, Tojso's up by Bumper Cave now. Maybe he'll go back down and check it. First, he's going to check the Lumberjack Cave.
The dark Lumberjack hut, I guess.
Right. The
Vascos, meanwhile, making his way up the pyramid, and it's just bombs.
Yep.
Tojso does remember that this cave can contain goodies, and he is going to be very pleasantly surprised.
It's a little too early for frustration slashes. Yeah, let's see. Of the chests in Ganon's Tower, there are actually 27 total, and 20 of them can have an item in them.
The others containing keys, map, compass, and many, many more keys on the ground.
And there are 22 chests that you can access before getting the big key.
Yeah. But since they do not have a fire source yet...
Well, there's an ice source. Does that count?
I don't think so, unfortunately.
So that's the Dark Side 5 cave. Tojso getting punched around.
We have simultaneous deaths here. Tojso's is a bit less of an issue since Dying in a dungeon is not nearly as bad. Well, depending on the dungeon.
True.
Dying in Skullwoods is usually not a big deal.
Right. Unless dying to Mothula, because that's bad.
Yeah. Especially if you don't have the half magic.
But yeah, this has not been a particularly healthy seed. Tojso's still sitting on 5 hearts 45 minutes into the race, and Vascos on 7.
Looks like he's going to be heading into the pod.
And Vasco's trying to get into pod. Gonna have a rude awakening, though, because he can't afford it.
Nope, he's gonna see Kiki run away and probably smack himself in the face palm. Hopefully
Yes.
not too hard.
So if you want to know which dungeons are crystals and which ones are pendant, it'll actually tell you in the trackers. You can see EP, DP, TOH. Those are the abbreviations for all of the dungeons. You can see that Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness and Skull Woods are labeled with pendants. Palace of Darkness has a little asterisk to tell you that it is the green pendant. The crystals have a little asterisk to let you know which ones are 5 and 6, and those will allow you to purchase the super bomb and get into the double-chested fairy room at the pyramid.
Well, we finally got to see what item was in the pond, and it is vanilla, just a little love.
Yep, just a piece of heart. Pizza fart? Is that what it is now? Pizza fart?
I've definitely heard people calling it the pizza fart.
So we've had one full shuffle round, or one match of full shuffle. Those the full shuffle matches are anything in the winners bracket round 3 and onward, and then anything in the losers bracket round 4 and onward. Vasco's spending some of that money that he wanted to spend on pod on the Dark World chess game, not getting much.
Nope, but at least he knows what it is now, and Vascos does check the latch item, which is yet more little love.
This is turning out to be a bit of a roadblock for our competitors. There's very little available that they can actually get to and get through.
Yeah, having Death Mountain blocked off by Bumper Cave is a giant pain in the butt.
Part of me is thinking that since they both have the Cane of Burna and a bottle, it might be time to check that Spike Cave.
Yeah, and they have the hammer, so
Yeah.
Vasco's doing the quick bootless strap for Houlihan, and be able to afford pod.
Yep, that will get him in for sure.
And whatever's in pod might also contain the item we're looking for, if it's not in Spike.
Tojso finding his height cave. Gonna get the ice rod out of here, and that's I believe that's about it.
Yeah. Nothing else good.
Yeah. Now I know we've
Still
seen
no
Spike
fire
Cave.
source, no mirror, no flute.
Tojso checking out the Chia Pet house.
And
finding 50 rupee farm cave.
Yep. But considering he definitely has the money, he's not gonna bother.
Yeah, just has to make sure to avoid getting hit twice while he has Kiki in tow.
Yep.
I think that won't be a problem.
I think he'll just be just fine, especially with the boots.
All right.
And we have simultaneous Kiki.
Simultaneous Kiki. This is some
serious monkey business.
I think this is what PogJamp was invented for.
Oh, and
so we're finding Misery Mire here. Vascos has the Cane of Samaria and can actually complete it if he's comfortable with the dark rooms.
Tojso, on the other hand, having a little trouble with this bonk.
Yep. Gotta make sure not to turn too early. Oh, and Vasco's taking a death in the Wizrobe room.
Not a costly death at this point, really.
True, but that room in general is just kind of brutal. There are some fast ways to do it, but it depends on the equipment you have, and you don't always have the right equipment. Luckily, the Wizrobes themselves don't take like 6 or 8 hits to kill like they do in the original Zelda.
Oh gosh.
They still hit like a truck, though.
What's really fun is trying to do that room in Enemizer when who freaking knows what's in it, and Ether Medallion is a very good friend to have.
Yeah, we very well may be seeing a Fighter Sword Vitreous run.
Oh boy. Honestly, I think we're gonna see a Hammer Vitreous.
Yeah, that's true. Hammer is far more useful against it.
And if they didn't need the items, this would be a Quickmire.
Yeah, this would be the mythical Quickmire that almost never happens, but it could have happened here. But nope, gotta go searching.
No, there's 2 possibilities for Quickmire, either on the bridge or the spike chest. I would count as a Quickmire.
Yeah, but we all know it doesn't actually ever happen, right? You know, as random as the randomizer is, it's out to get you, and you know it. There's the map. Tojso gonna go pick up the big chest.
Not a bad idea, considering how early that key was.
Oh!
Ooh.
So
and
I didn't.
He has to take a walk of shame.
Yeah, you actually have to walk 2 screens away if you miss that to get the chest, to get the bridge back. I know this because it's happened to me before.
And it's just a small key, and Tojso's gonna death warp.
Yeah, looks like it. Not entirely certain that's gonna be faster because he's got to clear out the first room again. Or he might just
unless he's leaving. Why would you even death warp if you're gonna save and quit? Whatever.
It happens. Right. They can't actually access any of the other chests because they need a fire source. Right? Because you've got to light the torches to get to either of them.
Yes. So still no fire source.
We did see the spike cave, right?
Yes.
Or am I making that up?
We have.
Okay.
I don't remember where it was, but we have seen it. It was before they found the hammer, though.
Right.
Vascos doing some fake flippering.
I believe you can maybe get to that vanilla compass chest from the other side.
And we'll see if Vascos can figure out the mess that is getting that bottle.
I think he's just gonna forgo it.
Fair enough.
He's gonna Jesus walk around. Oh, this is the best way to get to the hobo.
Nope, he is going to visit the waterfall. Oh, hello.
He might check what's in Ice Palace.
Tojso finding Sahasralas, and between that blue mail and our favorite bow, that was a nice find.
Vasco's finding Swamp Palace in the Ice Palace area, which is always nice to know about. But it does mean that you needed the flippers technically to even know that you needed the flippers. Well, I mean, we knew we needed the flippers because Swamp was crystal, but still.
Yep.
Ooh, the book Mudra sitting there on Tojso's screen at the catfish.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's must be pretty soggy. Hope you can still read it. But that will open up Desert Palace's location, which is...
It could be Turtle Rock or Hyrule Castle. Right?
Yes.
So the
Considering
simple entry
Turtle
trend-
Rock, Turtle Rock is crystal, so I think there's a decent chance that this is going to be Turtle Rock.
Yep. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't have the cane. Tojso doesn't have the cane.
Vascos. Yeah. Vascos, meanwhile, briefly forgetting he needs the cape for that and trying to remember what the heck he has forgotten.
We do, in fact, have Turtle Rock here in the Desert Palace location.
Unfortunately, Tojso does not yet have that cane. So I think we're going to see a bit of a route divergence for a while until they each find the items the other one has.
Having a rousing discussion of grammar in the chat right now.
Oh boy, what did I do wrong?
Oh no, it was I used the word forego or foregone or something like that, and they just started talking about it.
So I missed a lot of grammar classes in school, so I read a lot, so I can speak just fine, but trying to ask me how to diagram a sentence, and I had literally no idea.
Yeah. Sentence diagramming is useful to two people, English teachers and people who are studying computer language or computational linguistics. That's it.
Well, I mean, it can be useful for linguistics and seeing what languages are related, because the word order of a sentence is a quite good indicator of whether languages are related.
Yep.
And computer languages are contrived anyway, so
Right. I was really more
being able
talking
to
about
diagram a sentence doesn't really affect much.
I was really more talking about natural language processing by computers, but that's beside the point.
Okay.
We had
Fair
an
enough.
issue on Vascos' screen there for a bit. He looked like he froze up a bit, but he's good. Wow. You're not wrong. Nerds is correct. There in the chat. Oh, he just sat there and thought. Okay, that makes sense.
No, his screen wasn't frozen. He was having some trouble figuring out what his next move was.
Vascos has the purple chest now.
I'm gonna go see what's in the lunch box.
So was this guy named Gary, or is the old man named Gary? I'm confused.
I thought Gary was named Douche or whatever else you wanted to call your rival in Pokemon. Oh, hello.
Finding the half magic.
Yeah, like who didn't? Unless they watched the anime and decided to call him Gary, I think everyone called Gary like Jerk or something.
I actually named him after someone I actually hated in real life.
Or that.
I don't remember what his name was.
Ouch.
All right. So Tojso is going to get his Cane of Samaria now, as he does the peg game. Meanwhile, Vascos is going to pick up the male and the D.
Well, we'll see if either of them returns to Eastern soon.
Yep. I believe we counted the items and there wasn't anything left in Eastern Palace, and it is a pendant. So, unless we have a mythical pedestal seed here.
Well, we do have a book, which means we can find out.
Right. The odds of a pedestal seed in Entrance Randomizer, especially in Simple Entrance Randomizer, are very slim. It almost always requires Vanilla Ganon's Tower. Which, so far, we don't know where Ganon's Tower is, so it could be Vanilla.
Because whatever's in GT, it has to either be GT or a pendant entrance.
What was in Thieves Town entrance? Was that the Skullwoods?
That was Skull.
Yeah.
Or it might have been one of the Light World dungeons.
Oh, I bet that was Tower of Hera. Oh, it had Skullwoods. What had Tower of Hera in it then?
I think that was Swamp.
Swamp? Yeah, okay. No, I thought Swamp was Eastern. I don't know things.
Oh boy.
I'm getting all confused. This is what happens when you run too many randomizers in a row.
Yeah, but we're not even running this one.
That's true.
We're just talking about it. And, ooh, Vascos takes death on the way to the night market.
The Abbott and Costello reference in chat just kind of broke me.
You know what? Instead of calling it the dark shopping mall, I want to call it the night market. I think that's a better name.
Night market, yeah.
Tojso,
checking that spike cave, and Vascos checking that spike cave.
They both came to the conclusion that there's a good chance there's something
and
here.
We have the cape, which will get them into Death Mountain.
Rarely does the cape actually block anything, but when you need it for Death Mountain, it's important.
Now, it was, what, 20 minutes when I called that? 20 minutes ago?
Quite a while.
Like, you gotta check that spike cave. Hammer only counts for tablets in swordless mode.
Has that been added to swordless?
It has.
Okay. Last time I played swordless, tablets just didn't exist, basically.
Basically, they were guaranteed to have junk items on them.
Yeah, I think they were guaranteed to have, like, some rupees or an arrow and a message saying, how the fuck did you get this? Oh god, okay. I need to not swear.
Yeah. It happens to the best of us. Alright, so Death Mountain has been accessed. Now there's a...
We immediately find the wrong entrance to the 7 chest cave.
Yep. There are 3 entrances to that cave, though, so it's pretty likely you can get there. Now, if you had the mirror, you could also just enter there.
We have...
It looks like...
That looks like it could have been the back end of the old man cave, but I'm not certain.
Maybe.
Meanwhile,
The
there's
fourth
our
bottle.
fourth bottle.
We are extremely synced up here. This is very close race. Both players having the exact same set of items, minus the red boomerang on Vascos' side.
Yeah, but
which
who
is at
cares
Hobo.
about the red meringue?
Exactly.
Yeah, we have converged fairly quickly. So I,
Literal vanilla entrance over here.
yep. But
Interesting little sound glitch there. With a slowdown on the heart pickup. There's the lamp, which will allow them to actually see where they're going. Not only that, but access... Oh, never mind, there's the other fire source.
oh, time to go burn things now.
Burninating the countryside. Anyway.
Jeez.
What?
Door.
Don't judge me, I'm old.
Trapdoor's not that old.
It came out when I was a freshman in college, which was, oh dear,
You don't have to date yourself.
15 years ago now.
And I remember all of the albino black sheep favorites, like of course the Llama song. Who didn't as a kid just memorize the entire Llama song?
I was once at treehouse, I lived in a cake. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, no, I could sing the whole thing.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop that. But we are finding the old man cave, and we are exiting at the normal location, so we don't get to see the old man doing a weird dance trying to get into his house. But we do find the flute, and the flute is going to be just a massive boon to both of their existences.
Oh, absolutely. This is uncomfortably synced right now.
Not sure why Tojso went back in that cave. This is not madness mode.
Vascos finding the bottom of the spiral.
Yep. Gonna need to find the top of Spiral Cave if you want to get anything out of it. Vascos finding a cave with another exit you can get to and electing not to go to the other exit. Same thing with Tojso. They may have actually found that.
Yep. Well, there's one of the other exits, so.
Yep, that's the other way out. So, finding the internal spectacle rock cave, but only 20 rupees.
And
inside.
only 20 rupees
Meanwhile,
on Spectacle Rock, so
Meanwhile, Tojso finding the top of Spiral Cave, which, thank goodness you have the boots here.
oh yeah.
Early
Spiral
boots
Cube
are always
bootless
great.
is just a pain, and, well, 5 rupees.
That is absolutely true. If you find in full randomizer, going to the other exit could lock you out. So if you're trying to be systematic about which entrances and exits you check, you could end up somewhere entirely different.
So
we
finding Mimic Cave.
Yep, the Mimic Cave in the original Spike Cave. Vasco's heading back over to the east side of Death Mountain. Mimic Cave just having its vanilla piece of heart.
We're seeing a lot of vanilla pieces of heart in this seed, I think.
Quite true. Now Vasco's going back into the three exit 7 chest cave because there's 3 exits. This will probably take him somewhere on the top. Yep. Vanilla exit there too. So now we can check what is in the Tower of Hera.
Yep. And immediately after that, they may or may not be able to check what is in Turtle Rock as well.
Ooh,
oh,
so
hi, Ice.
Ice Palace. So we know that Ice Palace is in the Tower of Hera.
And I believe Ice was one of the good crystals.
Ice was Swamp Palace. Oh yeah, that's right. So Ice Palace has an asterisk. Yeah. In the vanilla Ice Palace location was Swamp Palace. We know Turtle Rock is in Desert. Desert is at Hyrule Castle. We know that means that Hyrule Castle is at Turtle Rock.
Which means it's unlikely to be needed, but there's still 4 items hiding in there, so...
We know where the Tower of Hera is. We know where Misery Mire is. Therefore...
And they're able to finish both of those now.
That means that at Misery Mire's normal location, we either have Thieves' Town or Ganon's Tower. And if it's Thieves' Town, then we have a vanilla Ganon's Tower.
Oof. Well, they do have Mire access now, so if I imagine, depending on what happens in Ice, at least one of them might go check that out.
We could also have Pod there. Sorry, I didn't think about that. Yeah. The other unknown location is the backside of Skull Woods, because they just got the Fire Rod.
True. Which also would not be a bad check.
Personally, I'd be very tempted to go to the Misery Mire area, because there are several entrances there, as well as the dungeon.
Yeah, there are 4 entrances, including Checkerboard.
Vascos having a little bit of trouble with the Ice Palace bomb jump.
So is Tojso.
Yep. There's a lot of leeway you have in horizontal pixels. There is 0 leeway in vertical pixels. It has to be the exact spot.
It depends on what your horizontal pixel is to how many if you have a little leeway on the vertical, I think.
Ah, that's good to know.
Still getting through it at the same time.
That is correct, Valfun. Missing Ganon's Tower, Pod, and Thieves' Town.
And all of those would be good chest locations.
Yep. 4 in Thieves' Town, 5 in Pod, and 20 in Ganon's Tower.
Yep.
And with the items they have access to...
Yep, with the Fire Rod, they can do it. I was hoping they'd find it a little earlier and see if Tojso would try and do his... I've seen Tojso do a Fire Rodless strat for right side GT. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, you gotta be super fast. You gotta be all Sonic and go fast.
Have you tried Sonic Mania yet?
Oh, I haven't played it myself, but I did get it, and one of my friends was playing it. It's very good.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get it when I've got a little more time.
So finding
money.
the flippers at the vanilla big key chest location there in Ice Palace.
Yep.
That will allow them to get into Swamp Palace. And I think, barring needing bombos to get into a dungeon entrance, that's basically all the items they need.
Yep.
I believe we have a term for that, but I'm hesitant to use it until we see the medallion needed for Misery Mire.
Mm-hmm. We call this Schrodinger's Go mode.
Yeah.
If you may or may not be missing a medallion or other object, but let's be honest, it's almost always a medallion.
Yep. True facts.
About the duck?
Oh, we don't need to discuss true facts about the duck. At least not at the moment.
Perhaps that's for the best.
If you are interested in duck anatomy, you can go look that up on your own. Because learning is fun.
Also, listening to Zay Frank sound ever so slightly like Morgan Freeman is also worth it.
And then he did the one about Morgan Freeman.
That one was just great.
Morgan Freeman was born in 1927.
Okay, you're really good at that. Oh! Tojso taking a death to cold stare. That is not a fun one.
7 Hearts, Fighter Sword, Hammer, Cold Stare. Anybody want to volunteer for that one?
But right, Tojso did not have half magic. Vascos will, which I'm going to assume means a good bit of fire rotting.
Yeah, that's a significant upgrade. To be honest, when I don't have half magic, I tend to use bombos to get rid of the ice shell, just so I have some in reserve.
Yes, I pretty much always use bombos anyway if I have it.
Yeah, it's a lot safer a lot of the time, but it is a little bit slower.
Ooh, Vasco's almost getting that quick kill. Clearly, he's been practicing it.
I mean, he would have gotten the quick kill, but I don't think the fighter sword is going to do that quick kill.
I wonder if he still has that blue potion.
I believe I saw him use it while he was trying to do the bomb jump.
That's too bad. That would come in handy right about now.
He is doing quite a good job of avoiding and destroying as much of Cold Stare as possible.
You can't be more than a few hits away at this point, but hitboxes are scary, and I'm like flinching every 2 seconds here.
Yeah. Ooh.
Eesh.
I hope nobody has a heart condition.
Oh! Oh, that was so close.
Meanwhile, Tojso finding the silver arrows, which will make the final part of this run much, much easier. And we do have bombos for Misery Mire's entrance.
Yeah. Oh, and Tojso
finding the Master
Sword. Very nice found. Fine.
Oh, that's... Orphis, you're killing me. You're killing me. Vascos has a heart condition, like no hearts at all.
Womp-a-domp.
Womp womp. And Tojso finding the Misery Mire cave a little bit off from where it usually is. And that's got the mushroom in it. Which, if we recall, the potion shop was over in the shopping mall, right?
I believe so. And I'm sure these runners would remember or have written it down.
It's a little convenient because along the way to the shopping mall, you're forced to make an actual screen transition, which is what triggers the mushroom. I will tell you, fluting out and fluting back does not work.
And it's just a heart container, but honestly, considering how many hearts they have, not the worst.
Yep. And Tojso taking some precautionary measures and buying a couple of potions as well, because as we've been stating so far, this has not been a healthy seed. Well, what items are still missing? Well, we seem to be missing the Bombos medallion for potentially a dungeon that you have to get into, though we don't know that that's the case.
Mm-hmm. But Tojso here is going to be heading into Swamp now that he has flippers.
Looks like Vascos might be heading up to the back end of Skull Woods to check what that is.
Ooh, and we have yet another route deviation.
So, I believe there's the insurance against key flooding in Swamp Palace still exists in Entrance Randomizer. It's just slightly different.
You still need to go at least one screen away.
Right. But in
Or
this
go
case,
through
it's
a
not
screen
the same screen.
Yeah. You still need to do an overworld screen transition. Vascos going back in here for the sole purpose of that magic refill, which probably isn't the worst idea.
Yeah. If you know where one is, it's always great to find. Alright, so Vasco's gonna check what is in the back end of Skull Woods. And we have Ganon's Tower, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh, so that's going to be huge for Vascos. Tojso, meanwhile, is probably going to full clear Swamp, which is probably going to end up putting him significantly behind, especially with that Bombos find.
Yep. There's the Bombos medallion immediately on the right-hand side of Ganon's Tower. So we can get into Misery Mire, which at this point is guaranteed to be Thieves' Town. Palace of Darkness has to be in the Ganon's Tower location.
Mm-hmm. Which means...
We will not be seeing Palace of Darkness today.
Oh, and we will not be seeing Sahasrah's item, whatever it happens to be.
That's true. Vasco's picking up a whole lot of bomb-related items and then some arrows.
At this point, I think you might just be better off death warping.
Nah, I mean, he's still gonna go on for more. Maybe.
Yes, but it doesn't take that long to get back there, and going forward 2 hearts is difficult.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Are you actually able to make that hookshot grab from that platform he was on, or...
I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
Yeah, more hearts.
Yeah, looks like all the hearts are locked up in Ganon's tower here.
Yep.
There are a non-trivial number of keys in Ganon's tower, because there are a lot of extra doors that don't really help you out. Because Ganon is a jerk like that.
Mhm.
There's the big key. It's in the hookshot chest. But of course, we're going to make our way into the randomizer room.
Of course. Because Vascos is not yet in go mode.
Is that true?
Yes,
What's
it is.
missing?
He's missing sword.
Right. Sword upgrade. He doesn't have the Master Sword. I'd be, willing to put some amount of money on the existence of a sword upgrade somewhere in Ganon's tower.
Which is why he's continuing to look. Because
Yep.
it's a fairly safe bet that there's going to be one there.
Looks like there might have been a blue boomerang on the left side of our screen. For the fans thereof.
I know that the blue boomerang causes less lag, but most of the places I use a boomerang requires the red meringue because of the reach.
Yeah. Yeah, that is an interesting observation. Looks like Tojso will be in fact picking up the first crystal of the match here.
Oh my god. Seriously?
Yeah.
We're an hour and a half in.
I know, right?
I've seen matches finish now, not to get their first darn crystal. Vasco's a little low on health.
I don't know if I've seen an entrance shuffle match finish by now, but it's been close.
Close.
Vasco's finding my favorite item, which is the magic powder.
And now it's Death Warp. And our first crystal fanfare. What a lovely sound.
So Vasco's just slipping on by the tile room, hoping that there's nothing particularly useful there. I mean, when you're looking for only one more item.
Yeah. I think he did check the big chest on the way to Ice Armos.
I'm not entirely certain that's true. It's possible.
Because if not, I think he would have remembered it instead of just leaving.
Well, he death warped out of the room past Ice Armos, so I'm not sure. Now he's just death warping out of this room, so it's like, what are you doing? Oh.
Death Warp.
Alright, so Tojso gonna go get the big key for Hera. Tile's trolling him a bit.
Yeah. I usually do that trick with a bomb, just because you get a little more time to, and that doesn't happen. Ooh, and without the mirror, this is gonna suck.
I'm like, I think that was a lock. Yep. Vasco's saving that fairy for after the tiles.
Yep, I usually do that. I mean, you have to get the bunny beam right away if you want it.
Yep. Alright,
Free
Vasco's
for a
picking
little.
up the key in the tile room, which he's going to need as he goes up Ganon's tower.
Vascos will probably be fighting Aga 2 before getting a single crystal.
Yep.
That's how this game works, right?
Of course. Why would you need crystals to fight Aga 2? It's not like it's at the top of a tower that is guarded by a giant barrier or anything. The things I learned in while commentating, the fact that you can fire arrows while holding your sword out, and the mimics will still change direction based on your movement. So you can more easily avoid the mimics shooting you in the face.
Or you can get the mirror shield and not worry about it.
There is
But
that.
that's pretty rare.
Yeah, unless you're playing easy mode. Anybody jumped on the easy mode train yet?
What's easy mode?
So they in the newest randomizer they added an easy mode where there are twice as many sword upgrades and mail upgrades and shield upgrades and bottles. And I think there's one other thing.
Oh, and you can get both half and quarter magic.
Right, half and
they're
quarter.
progressive.
That's right.
Bombos was in GT in the first two chests.
Alright, Tojso making his way up to Moldorm. Vascos, after basically clearing out Ganon's tower, still sitting on the fighter sword.
Yeah.
We're clearing out the lower levels of Ganon's tower. There are still some chests on the way up.
There are 4 more chests.
So it looks like if I had to put some money on that, I might be out some money. Tojso getting super speed Moldorm and getting trolled. Whereas Vasco's getting trolled by the gauntlet in Ganon's tower. Now Tojso going for hammer strats. It's 3 hits with the hammer. Will immediately kill it.
Yep. Or 3 master sword spins.
Right. I believe that's
And
what he tried on the previous one, but accidentally got a poke, which is what caused his issues.
Yeah. I think there are pros and cons to both methods. The master sword spins, obviously you can accidentally get a poke, whereas with the hammer you sorry.
You have a much smaller area of effect with your hammer, and also holding out the sword makes it harder to fall off.
Yeah. Though you can hold out the sword hit with the hammer, because that is the general strat for Helmasaur.
Oh, Always makes your life a little easier. Of course, we will not be seeing the Helmsaur King during this run.
Nope.
Unless somebody decides to 100% it for some reason.
Vascos thinking, oh hey, there's a full magic refill right away. I might as well use my cape.
Mm-hmm. One thing people have pointed out is that Vascos, I believe, found the bug net in the right-hand side of...
Yeah, it was in the top right chest of
tower.
the right side of GT.
And electing not to catch any of these fairies he's coming across.
Yeah, despite the fact that he certainly has empty bottles. Tojso has not found GT. Tojso went in a different direction that has led him down a very different path at this point.
Tojso is, of course, just checking out all the dungeons. He knows where they exist and knows he can beat them.
Yeah. So right now, although we have all of the items for Go Mode, neither player is actually in Go Mode.
Now, I'm sure either player would appreciate another sword upgrade.
But Vascos does require one.
Yes.
Still, there's 4 more chests up here, so
we'll get to see what's in the vanilla big key chest in Misery Mire. We'll note Tojso's still digging around for I assume he's still looking for the Bombos medallion because he thinks he might need it for Misery Mire. He does not know the Gan's Tower is in the Skull Woods area.
Mm-hmm. But they are still going to need that medallion.
Right.
I believe. Because,
that's where Thieves Town is.
yes. And Thieves is a crystal. But unfortunately, Tojso's going to be spending quite a lot of time finishing up the dungeons he knows the locations of first.
Yep. Now, if Vascos finds a sword upgrade in any of these areas, he'll be in good shape. Now, Vascos running out of magic, but luckily he knows about the pot sitting there below. It's exactly what it's designed for.
Mm-hmm.
There's the red mail and the shovel.
Well,
So sword upgrade in the Haunted Grove.
could happen. Did we see either of our competitors go visit Stumpy?
I believe so. Tojso getting immediately wrecked by
Vascos
Vitreous.
Remembering he has a net and electing to use it.
Excellent. Luckily, Tojso has cleared out the rest of the dungeon and can immediately head straight to Vitreous. Unfortunately, it's not a short walk.
But fortunately, he has silver.
Yep, it will be a quick fight if he can get in there and not get immediately wrecked.
Oof, and Vascos, no luck on that sword.
That is very interesting. No sword upgrades in Ganon's Tower. We know where one is. It's in one of the caves in the Misery Mire area.
Yeah.
I guess there
So,
might be some in Thieves Town.
Considering Vascos has the has all 3 medallions, I wouldn't be surprised if he went up the mire soon. I mean, he's been clearing out GT for quite a while, so
Right.
he's got a lot on his to-do list. Oh, and yes, he might do Desert Palace first. Or rather, Lanmola, at least. The rest of Desert's done.
Right. Hold on. Desert's in Hyrule Castle, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, I believe you bet a certain sum of money about sword upgrade being...
I said I would be willing to. Nobody took me up on that. That's the problem.
Fair enough.
Silver Arrow's making quick work of Vitreous after he's... And just getting the compass there, of course. But the 3rd crystal is now belongs to Tojso. So Tojso has 3 crystals, and Vascos has Aga 2.
Well, that being said, considering how long it took him to clear out... Actually, Tojso probably won't clear out GT, because he'll probably find that medallion right away and he'll be in go mode.
Yeah, he'll find the Bombos medallion and be like, I'm done here, thank you.
Yeah, which would save him a considerable amount of time.
Wait, is Vascos just now unlocking the flute?
Yes.
Wow.
Again, he's been in GT for a while. Oh yes, he does also need the big key.
Right. So Tojso heading into Turtle Rock. Gonna get some stuff done in there. Meanwhile, Vasco's gonna come over here and get himself into go mode. Plus silvers.
Oh yeah.
Silver is always great.
So I'm still not entirely sure who's ahead. I mean, Vascos is in go mode, which is a pretty big deal considering Tojso is currently doing T-Rock over here.
Tojso has already done a full clear of Swamp Palace, which Vascos will be able to make up time there.
Yeah, so full clearing GT took a little extra time off of Vascos, but full clearing Swamp and T-Rock are probably going to make up for that.
So taking the death warp. There's a lot of death warps in this match.
Yeah. And although Tojso is well ahead on crystals, being in go mode means that the remaining ones aren't going to take Vascos very long at all. So at this point, I'm not actually sure who's ahead. It depends on how fast Tojso finds GT.
Yeah, Orpheus, the dungeon at Turtle Rock is Hyrule Castle, so neither player will need to go in there. However, Bombos opens the dungeon at Misery Mire, which is Turtle Rock. Not Turtle Rock, Thieves Town. I know how to words.
I don't believe we even know what medallion is required for T-Rock.
Yeah, you don't see Go Mode Thieves Town that often.
Plus, there's the fact that it doesn't really help much.
Right.
I mean, you still have to open the first 4 chests until you find big and small keys. There's no reason to check this 4th one, though.
You did it anyway. It's not that far out of the way, and Tempered Sword would make such a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely. And
The difference between Master Sword Ganon fight and Tempered Sword Ganon fight is, you
a
know,
whole lot of headache.
a lot of headache and
Also
probably
time.
about a minute and a half.
I think it's more like 2 minutes, depending on how good you are at it.
Yeah. Tojso getting that extra heart from the heart piece there on the desert ledge.
Not a bad idea for a refill if you need it.
Yep. I'm just surprised he kept track of how many heart pieces he had. I always forget.
I usually forget too, but sometimes it's like wishful thinking. Like, I think I'm at 3, and I definitely need hearts right now, so might as well.
So, somebody in the chat asking, or not knowing how to do Silverless Ganon. The way you have to do it is you have to do a spin attack just as he turns invisible.
Well, as
While
he
he
turns
throws-
invisible to warp away,
To
as
warp away.
he's just warping away,
After he throws a fire.
there's, I think, a 3-frame window where he is vulnerable to an attack. It does not have to be a spin attack, however, because of how big the hitbox and how long the spin attack is, it makes it much easier.
Ah, I was not aware of that.
You can absolutely do Silverless without spins, and you can if you're in swordless mode, you can do Silverless. Though I don't think anyone's done it without quite a lot of save states.
Yeah, you'd have to be able to hit that 3-frame window with the hammer, right?
Oh boy, exactly.
No. So with that precision Cane of Samaria strat there, blind man walks into a bar and a table and a door. There's Blind's pun for you. Vasco's gonna make quick work of Blind while Tojso gonna do his.
And I believe Blind is going to be Vascos' first crystal at 148. Woo.
I'm liking the kill the ice head first strat over here.
Oh,
Tojso stream.
My usual strat for Trinex is to get a few swings in on the firehead because it comes out first, and then go over to the ice head, and then come back to the firehead if it's not dead already.
Right, stun lock that ice head because you don't want your floor full of ice.
No, but if you have tempered or butter sword, it's entirely possible to kill the firehead before the ice head has a chance to spit.
But when you're stuck on hammer, it's a little more difficult. You got to switch over to it.
Yeah.
I'm literal garbage at fighting Trinex, so
I'd say I'm much worse at Gold Star. Anyway, I gotta go for a minute, so I will be right back.
Okay.
If you can hold
I
the
can hold the fort down.
fort for you. Okay.
So now Tojso heading into Desert Palace. Gonna head out the rarely used right exit to get to the top. This is one of the things you can do when Desert Palace is sitting at Hyrule Castle. Meanwhile, Vascos now peeking into Turtle Rock. So let's see. Thinking about worst case scenarios here. So Vascos should know that they are technically in go mode and can just start ignoring things. But if they want that extra sword upgrade to not have to spin attack Ganon a metric ton of times, like worst case scenario is like both of them sitting behind double-chested fairy or something. Yeah, it is very difficult to say who is in the lead right now. Yes, I believe the mirror is not required. The only way that would happen is if you needed it to get into, say, the backside of whatever dungeon was at Hyrule Castle, and you couldn't get there via other means. That is strange. There we go. I thought they made the pendants and crystals linked on the tracker. Tojso getting trolled by the dead rocks a bit. He looks to be heading up to Tower of Hera again. Or perhaps to the entrance around Turtle Rock. But probably Tower of Hera. Or Tower of Hera's entrance. Which, as we know, is not the Tower of Hera. It is in fact Ice Palace. I think he's going to need to finish that out, as both players did in fact take a death to cold stare.
Yeah, hi, I'm back.
Hello.
That Vascos was so close to actually beating Cold Stare there. It was really sad to see him fail.
I think if he had released his sword about a frame earlier,
he might have been done.
Won, because I think he had enough damage at that point.
I don't know how many, how close he was on the hits, but it had to be close.
Indeed.
Or maybe that's just wishful thinking when you're like,
yes,
please let him die already.
Yes, AA, that was in fact an extremely vanilla way to get up Death Mountain. It's only the third entrance of that cave is different, and it's very strange.
No, but getting onto Death Mountain in the first place, that was the real challenge.
Yep. It was Cape in Spike Cave that required you to get the hammer from Hookshot Cave, Now you didn't actually
And
need the hook shot.
Cave was in Bumper Cave, so you had to remember that you had to actually check that.
Yep.
And somewhere you had to get Brian as well.
Yeah. Brian was pretty early on. It was in the C-shaped house, which was in the like overgrown yard house in normal Kakariko Village. Yeah. One interesting thing just noticed, if you want to, after completing Ice Palace here, you can step outside and check the Ether Tablet.
It might be a possibility, considering we do not have a tempered sword yet.
Yep.
The shields have not been seen. They're probably all hiding in Pod, which is in GT.
Yeah, that's the worst. Luckily, the shields don't really help you when it comes to like the Ganon fight. So
yeah, GT we know is in Skullwoods, and GT has Bumbos in it, which he's going to need for Go Mode. Vascos' last item for Go Mode was Master Sword instead. Which is one of those things you don't always remember is required.
Case in point, this commentator had to ask, what is Vascos missing? And then was very kindly informed by his co-commentator that it was in fact the Master Sword. So the little glitch there on Trinex, if you hit him slightly before he comes out of his shell, does his entire body become vulnerable? Is that what happens?
I know as he's coming out of his shell in that L shape before he starts going up the left side too much, his entire body is invulnerable, or is vulnerable. It's only when he's partway up the side and starts to move around in his usual patterns that it's only the middle.
Ah, interesting. So, yes, Tojso checking the Ether Tablet, only finding some bombs, but it looks like he will finally be heading to the backside of Skull Woods where he will find Ganon's tower. And be almost immediately in go mode, assuming he goes to check the two chests on the right side first.
Yep. He'll probably be a little mad that he left this so late, though. Considering he's going to be heading into GT at the 2-hour mark.
So Vasco's picking up a couple of safety potions, and I don't think anybody would blame him for that.
Oh no, that's never a bad idea.
Did we ever check the Dark World shopping mall? I think we did.
I think so.
Or the night
Besides,
market, as you
Vascos, I think, is heading off to ice soon, so you want a little safety.
And there it is. Tojso has achieved go mode. Thinking about heading to the right side and then realizing he needs a key. Which, if he stuck around in Tile Room, he would get one, but...
Okay, based on crystals, this definitely puts Tojso
This does feel
ahead
like
now.
Tojso's lead, yes.
Yeah, but it wasn't certain until he went into GT.
Now, of course, sometimes Bob has to die to make things work. Just hope it's not this Bob.
Yes, you need to collect 7 crystals and beat Agatu in order to damage Ganon's final phase. Or else he will yell at you and just say, you're not ready, go finish things.
He'll give you a message somewhat to the effect of get good, scrub, and tell you to leave. Tojso doing red boomerang strats on the room with the crystals, the crystal switches.
Well, if he wants to save that half magic, it's not a bad idea. Personally, I usually just go with the cane since it's almost always already out.
Tojso still never found half magic, so...
No, he did not. Anyway, Tojso is good to go up Ganon's tower, but...
Tojso's skipping out on the randomizer room because he found the big key in the previous chest.
Not quite sure what he's trying to do here, though.
Well, he's trying to find a way to get out because he doesn't have the mirror.
Yeah, but there are easier ways than what he did. It appears he's just going to go through the big chest room.
Meanwhile, Vascos making his way to Moldorm.
Yeah, we do not know where the mirror is. It's not required.
So the mirror could be in Pod. Could be in a couple of overworld locations that we've been otherwise unable to check or unwilling to check.
Okay. Vasco's having a bit of luck not getting... Man, I would have been thrown off like 5 times. Right now.
And there we go. Vasco's dealing with Trolldorm even after getting the super speed version. Oh no.
Oh no. Wait, no. One of the upper chests has a key.
You need another one. Oh yeah, you're right. There is a...
One of the upper chests has a key, so he's still okay, but he doesn't know that.
Tojso making the big plays here.
Or forgetting.
Yeah, a little of both.
But he's gonna get lucky either way.
¿Por qué no los dos? We will have to ask him if he comes in, whether he just forgot or he was making a calculated gamble.
Yeah. Well, we might be able to tell by his reaction to getting up there and whether he goes to check the chests first or goes back for them in a panic.
So Silver Arrow is extremely effective against Land Molas too, however also very finicky.
Yeah.
Vasco's now with 3
It's
crystals.
pretty hard to hit them in with the silver arrows because they have such a small hitbox compared to the fire rod.
I seem to be a little better though at hitting them with the silver arrows than I am with the fire rod because I tend to go too early with the fire rod.
Well, with the fire rod, I find either way what you want to do is stand along the top wall and look down and hold your sword out so you don't end up turning around. And it's much easier to aim that way, at least for me.
All right.
Instead of having to run around the room hoping he shows up in the direction you're facing.
Vasco's taking a little detour up the stairs.
Chat, why? Is he gonna have just enough magic for it? Yeah, he knows, or he just noticed.
He's gonna be like, well, I hope this chest has a key.
Yep. It's like,
Congratulations.
you got one chance. It's worth taking it.
Ooh, and taking a fall to Moldorm too. Not a particularly uncommon occurrence.
No.
And Tojso finishing off Moldorm 2.
Vascos, meanwhile, heading into the big puddle of eyeballs and making very quick work of them.
Eyes for days.
Yeah.
Alright, so Tojso will finish off Aghanim 2 here.
Tojso is one ahead right now because although he got into go mode about like half an hour later, he got so many crystals out of the way in the meantime. And he didn't have to full clear GT, unlike Vascos. Plus, there's the fact that in Entrance Rando, GT is not the last dungeon you have to do, or not necessarily. It can happen if GT is vanilla.
That is true. So Tojso gonna head over to the Misery Mire area, where he will find Thieves Town, and be able to finish that off in short order.
And that will be his last crystal.
Yep. After that, we will head over to Ganon's actual location.
Which is in the Batcave right now.
Yes. Tojso, knowing he's in go mode, just getting out of there as quickly as he can. No reason
But
to fall
both of our
into
runners just hoping for that tempered sword somewhere. Yes, Tojso does have bombos, and
yeah, Vascos took a death in the gauntlet on the way up Ganon's tower, and a death before that, I think, is 2. Just he did not have a great time in Ganon's tower.
No, he didn't, and he full cleared it, including tile room, which took quite a bit of time as well.
I imagine Tojso will pick up that chest, the next chest, and then the chest with the big key in it, and then peace out.
Yeah. Well, no, he might check the fourth
chest,
one.
just in case there was a tempered sword in it. But we know it's just got the map.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are 5 items in the Palace of Darkness. 2 of them are the sword upgrades, and the other 3 are the shields.
I would not be entirely surprised by that.
If Toad fell 30 times on Ganon, yes, I believe Vascos would catch up. I believe that is correct. Probably wouldn't take 30 times.
Well,
considering they're going to have to do Master
Sword.
Sword.
Any reason to check any chests that we haven't seen from one of them, so...
Yep.
I don't think we tempered sword is going to be found.
Yep. Now Vascos, of course, is going to do the ever so quick go mode Swamp Palace.
Yep.
And then
He does
go mode
have
Ice.
that advantage on Tojso at least, but it's not going to be enough at this point.
Right. It's going to be a little closer than it looks, but it's not going to be that close. I couldn't really tell you how many minutes behind. If I had to guess, I'd say, let's see, Go Mode Swamp is about, it's probably got about 3 or 4 minutes left in Swamp, maybe.
Well, yes, but remember, he also has to make his way down to Cold Stare.
Yeah, he's got to get to Ice Palace again, which is up at Tower of Hera, which is a pain.
It shouldn't be more than 10 minutes, but 5 seems about right.
Go Mode Ice is pretty fast as well, assuming you can quickly get the bomb jump down.
Yeah. Which our runners had a surprising amount of trouble with today.
I'm just the worst at doing single pixel movement. So I imagine we'll be making very quick work of blind here. Using a basically scripted fight, if you do it just right. Vascos is checking a few chests on the way to Argus, just in case that tempered sword is there. Unfortunately, he's going to be sorely disappointed. Yes, getting up to Hera is a little bit difficult, although the right side cave is basically vanilla, so it's a pretty quick trip up on the right side. Alright, so Tojso has all 7 crystals. Where is he going? Is he forgetting that Ganon is randomized? No! He's going to pick up a fairy.
Not the worst idea.
Maybe he's still forgetting that Ganon is randomized.
I think he should know where it is, though.
I guess he might have been taking a chance that that was the tempered sword.
Perhaps.
I don't think either player used the shovel either, so there might be a tempered sword there.
Well, we'll see if Tojso turns down. Nope.
But turn down for what? Sorry. How do you like my Ganon cosplay?
Oh. Master Sword Ganon, but thankfully not Silverless.
Correct. Now, Master Sword Ganon will require 12 spin attacks on each of the first 2 phases.
I think it's something awful like 24 on the end.
If it was silverless, it would require 24. However,
Oh, right.
with silvers, all you need is just the 4 arrows.
True.
You'll need a spin attack to turn him blue.
Yep. I always mess up the timing, or confuse the timing of silverless, which you spin after he throws the bat, whereas Master Sword with silvers you spin before he throws the bat. So hopefully
Basically,
you don't
just as quick as possible.
Yeah.
You can always just say, hey, I'm practicing for silverless.
Yeah, but usually you don't do that unless you've already lost.
Tojso should be coming up on Phase 3 pretty soon. Yep. Here we are, Phase 3. So it's going to require 4 hits with a spin attack to finish off Phase 3. And there's a random number of teleports between each one of the times you can hit him. And you want to do so before he gets that fire bat of doom out.
Yeah. You want to hit him right away when he's stomping so that that big spiral bat doesn't go out, because that one can be hard to dodge and you don't always know which one's going to be the last thing.
Did you find the silver arrows alone in a home, he says, which is how I hope to not die when I'm very old.
Uh-uh. So very good Ganon fight going on here.
Again, being a little trolly, not allowing you to set up for double hits, but
Tojso
that will do it.
has no problem handling him.
Tojso has finished with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 53 seconds.
GG, man.
I believe this is the only race on the schedule today for entrance randomizer.
It is. But I'm sure there's probably a whole bunch of Metroid Rando or something else going on. Okay.
Indeed.
Seems as if Vascos is going to keep going. It's good. He's not that far. He's only got to fight Gold Stare and then Ganon.
That is true. Should be about, I'd say, maybe 5-6 minutes between them.
Yep.
Depending on how this Cold Stare fight goes.
Well, Tojso's going to be up against Orphis, I believe, next.
Indeed.
That's going to be an interesting fight. Tojso's quite a good player. Orphis has been just taking names lately. So it should definitely be quite a good show.
Vascos making liberal use of the fire rod to just send Cold Stare back to the Stone Age.
Burn it with fire.
There is plenty of randomization to go. Someone asking about the fastest time on randomizer. So on normal randomizer, I believe the world record is like 104 or something close
like
to that.
I think ACM has that. So Christos has the 105, which is not that far behind.
Right. And on entrance randomizer, it's nowhere near 104, but I don't know if people have really been keeping track of that. I mean, the best I've seen is about 158. Like, it's really.
Oh no, it's definitely
really hard
better
to
than that.
Oh, I didn't see last night's match, so if it was, 145 is pretty good. So, think there's any chance we'll get Tojso in here to talk about it, or?
Yeah, we'll have to ask him in the race chat.
Looks like he's in the general chat. Just pop him on in here. Hey, Tojso, GG. GG.
Thanks. That was... I feel like I played that absolutely horribly.
That was a seed that just made you run around in circles a lot.
The seed made it difficult to play well, because, I mean, they didn't give you very many hearts early on. It was brutal for both players.
I think the first crystal was at about an hour 30, and at least one of you beat Agatu before getting a crystal.
Yeah, that was... I was actually really lucky in GT. I had forgotten that I used the key to get to the warp room there, and then when I got up
Yeah.
the source, I was like, oh crap!
We were definitely planning on asking you about that one.
I also had a lot of both intentional and unintentional death warps.
Oh yeah. Tons of death warps here and there. So how'd you like that cape required to get into Death Mountain?
That I found really interesting. I was actually wondering if I was going to need to mirror in there as well, since I could get to the top of the where the bumper cave usually lets out. And if I got the mirror somewhere, I was going to go there. But since it was cave, it's like, oh, well, that works too. And I beelined as soon as I got it.
Yeah, it was really kind of trolly, because you needed that cape to get up there. And then, of course, according to the new logic, you needed that Kana Birna and hammer to get the spike cave where that was, right? So
yeah, you did need it for that.
It's kind of a mess. It's the first time I've ever seen Kana Birna and cape required.
Yeah, that's not something you see every day.
Vascos is coming up on the end of his Ganon fight.
Alright, so it wasn't too far. Oh, there it is. Alright.
Yeah. He
there we go.
Did get into go mode significantly earlier than you. However, you got a lot of crystals, and he full cleared GT.
Yeah, I was really lucky that I knew that it was either going to be Thieves Town and Mire or Ganon's Tower was going to be Vanilla, and I should have gone to Skull earlier to confirm that. But once I had Bombos, I knew I could just blaze through everything else. Although I nearly died again, which was kind of scary.
Well, you know, nobody likes Master Sword Ganon.
Amen. All right, so Vascos, good job. Well done.
GG.
GG.
How are you feeling about that, Vascos?
I hate doing Master Sword Cannon.
Finding the swords either?
Nope, I only found the sword in my area.
So here's the working theory we have. There are 5 items in pod. 2 of them are sword upgrades, and 3 of them are shields.
Yeah, that was my thinking too.
Sometimes the
Oh,
randomizers
and
just have to get you.
Plus, Sahasrahla is probably holding that mirror.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because that would just be the cherry on the cake at this point.
All day. So Vascos finishing with a official SRL time of 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 39 seconds. That's an excellent time as well. Sorry, I think I interrupted you. You all right?
Yeah.
All right. So
Speechless.
I want to ask you about this, Vascos. What did you think about that situation required to get into Death Mountain with the cape and the spike cave and all that mess?
I wasn't a fan. But I was glad when I finally found that cape. Like reverse vanilla? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. On the Dark
Yeah.
World side, of course, you had that spike, the hookshot cave there, which you sometimes forget there can be a cave with items there.
Yeah, I didn't forget that. I just didn't want to go over there because I basically was in go mode after Ice Palace. So just felt like a waste of time. Especially since GT was open and that's so many items there.
So, any other comments from either of our runners on this seed or anything else you want to talk about?
The chest game at the very start, where I got there with only 9 rupees and kind of did a whole loop of the world trying to get to the 30 there, only to get 51 in return. That tickled my fancy quite a bit there. I was not too happy about it.
Yeah. I can't imagine that being pleasant. Surprise.
I'm glad that I didn't need to do Hyrule Castle at all.
Yeah, same.
Oh yeah, there could have been some sword upgrades in there too.
Yeah. And I was so afraid of Mirror being required for Turtle Rock. Because of the key situation.
There were 4 more items in the castle, since neither of you checked the sewer chest.
I checked the sewer chests.
Or I just didn't.
Oh, you mean the one in the middle? Okay, never mind.
Right.
The one in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys both for playing and gave us an excellent show today. Congratulations, Tojso, as you'll be moving on.
Yep.
What do you
Good
think
luck
about your?
against Orphis.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling okay about that. I feel like I'm going to be better off in full than in simple here. There's just a lot more tricks that you can do with that.
All right. So I could be wrong on this, but according to the rules, it looks like in the losers bracket the full rando doesn't start until round 4.
I thought it was 3.
Yeah, me too.
Says here, for the losers bracket, rounds 1 through 3 are simple shuffle, and rounds 4 and onward are full shuffle.
I think they must have added that more recently.
They might have changed that in a different place, and we just didn't know. But that's what it says on the challenge website. So,
yeah.
So I guess I got one more simple seed in front of me then.
Looks like it. All right. Well, thank you all for playing, and give these runners a follow because they did an excellent job today. Thank you to Epibliticos. Sorry, I'll get it right. Epi, we call him Epi because it's a lot of words. For running the tracker today, did an excellent job. And thank you to Feasel for restreaming and doing all the things he does. SMBI for setting up the tournament, and LL Cool Dave for actually doing the coding here. Anybody else I need to thank? Oh, how about Flexi Bunny?
Oh, thank you. But I think we also need to thank all the viewers for watching. That please go follow the runners. They're great. They're great guys. I love them.
Excellent. So, thank you all for watching. Our next tournament match is tomorrow, looks like, at around 3 p.m. Eastern Time between Korek and Krelbel. We don't know where that will be restreamed, if at all, but there will be a match. So, everyone looking forward to that, I assume. Thank you all for watching. This has been Dr. Bobtastic, and I will see you later.
Bye.
Bye.